What is up, Tampa Bay? Good evening, y'all.
Good evening.
We have the rock stars in the house. I'm excited. I'm starting to really look forward to Tuesdays. It used to stress me out.
I bet. On your own, I bet.
Yeah, well, it just stressed me out. But now it's like we're learning what you all want to hear, right? And we want to say thank you first and foremost because it's very helpful. Like guessing what y'all want to hear and actually hearing what you want to hear are two different things, right? So we encourage you and we welcome comments, of course, in the chat. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Any questions you have, things you would like to know about in the area. That not only helps us here, but that helps us go out and make YouTube videos that you guys see on Saturday, right? So lots of people were asking about Murata, so that's why we just did that recent video. But the point is about you, right? So if you help us better understand what y'all are interested in, what you want to know about, what are the things? It doesn't have to be all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, right? This is just the way the world works. So we want to deliver that information to you. So welcome to Tampa Talk Live. We do this every single Tuesday evening, and I am joined by these incredibly gracious co-hosts. I have Miss Marsha Railton in Bradenton, Florida. Good evening, Marsha.
Good evening, everyone. Excited to be here.
The one and only.
I'm less nervous than I was in the beginning, so I'm enjoying it well.
You're doing wonderful. And then we are also joined by our other co-host, Miss Stacy Amon, up in Pasco County. Good evening, Stacy.
Hello, good evening. And I'm still nervous, so.
You don't look and react it.
That's right. She's doing great, right, y'all? Make sure you let these ladies know you appreciate their work. Listen, they're doing homework. They're getting everything together. You should see their notes. They are very well prepared. They've got a whole sheet that they send me ahead of time. Hey, this is what we want to talk about. This is what we've been working on. So I am grateful for it. So thank you, ladies. We appreciate that. And tonight we got some fun things to talk about. Apparently there's chicken wars going on. So that was news to me, but Stacy delivered an update there. I'm excited to hear about these chicken wars because, I mean, who doesn't like a great chicken sandwich, right? Or nuggets or whatever they are. I don't know. Here in South Florida, we have grouper nuggets. For those of you who are not aware, that is a thing down here. So be prepared when y'all come down. And they're pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Some people have great grouper nuggets and other people not so much. Not so much. And my day has been eventful. We just got back from urgent care about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. My daughter has hives all over her and been developing for the last 2 or 3 days. Today was like super high level of anxiety for every grandmother's here, and grandma freaked out. So we got to go to the urgent care. And but she's okay. I just want to let everybody know she's okay. She's having an allergic reaction to amoxicillin. Because she had an ear infection that started last week and they gave her amoxicillin. So she has never had an antibiotic. She's 5 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, so her body is not digging it. So that was an event. Like everybody's like stressed out, but walked in. He's like, this allergic reaction, what is she on? Pardon me, go ahead.
I said, I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah.
I think amoxicillin, if I remember correctly, when my kids were younger, it's like, a lot of people have reactions to it, and there's a lot of harsh reactions, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the word.
Yeah. So yeah, it was one of those events, but we're okay. Everybody's great. We're fine. The sun is shining. It rained for like 1.5 seconds, literally.
Well, it's rumbling up here.
That's good.
Up north. Yeah.
We need the rain. It's been dry. Like, this is crazy. It's been a very warm July.
Yeah.
All right. Like, I need to look that up. We'll get those stats before we get rolling here, because I'm assuming that July was the hottest it's been in a very long time. The water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico right now are like 95 degrees. They're unbelievable. It is warm, to say the least, but it's not forever. So anybody, looking at us right now going, you all are crazy. We are, and we're all aware of this. But the exchange that we made was no snow ever. Never.
Worth it. Well worth it.
not
of it.
That's right. Not ever, not once, not going to happen, not going down. Right. And we are willing to sweat through our clothing twice a day for about a 45-day period in exchange. Right. There was a client when last year They moved from Seattle here. Great family, unbelievable family. They were so much fun. And one of their younger sons is probably 10 or 12. I can't remember his age. He got out of the car one time, and I seen him. He's like squinting, walking up, and this is like May. It wasn't even hot yet, right? And he's squinting on the way up, and I was like, "You all right, man?" He goes, "It's the wrath of Florida," and I was like, "You got a lot to learn, my man." I'm like, "You ain't there yet, you know." But coming from the Pac Northwest, where it never really gets hot like that, you know, is one of those moments. But it made me laugh. It's just, you know, it definitely can be intense here, and I want to share that because we're right in the thick of it. This is the time of the year where I remember, you know, being in the north, where you would start to see some cool nights kind of slide in, right? You're like, what's going on here? It start to slide in. And as you come into Labor Day, you know, that was the line of demarcation to shut the pool down back home, right? Does everybody remember? Like, yep, the Labor Day weekend was like, kids go back to school the Thursday or Friday before. The pools basically get shut down on Labor Day weekend. There's a couple nice weekends. For sure, there's still a couple of nice weekends that slide in there. But you start getting those high 50s, low 60s nights, and those pools start getting very cold very quickly. Right? And you don't get that intense heat during the day to heat them up anymore. So those pools start getting closed. Here in Florida, y'all, especially in South Central Florida, South Central Florida, that is not how that happens here. This is our warmest part of the year. So from right now through basically the end of September, it's just hot all the time. It's intense, but like I said, I will so trade that every day of the week. I'll put up with the, you know, all of the things that come along with that intense heat. But ladies, I would love to get this thing kicked off and start talking about what's happening out there in the street. So our thumbnail tonight was Tiger Woods, a mall. We didn't have the chicken. We got the chicken notification late. Otherwise, we'd had chicken on there. So we want to get into some of those things for sure. I'm a huge fan of chicken wars. You all remember when the whole Popeyes Chick-fil-A thing was going down? Like, it was like a huge ordeal. People were like fighting over chicken sandwiches at Popeyes. It was insane. Like, I was watching on the news. I'm like, what is happening over there? Right? I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. But hey, everybody's got their thing, right? So I definitely wanted to get into some of the local stuff too. There's some not so good news. There's some great news, and I'm actually, I'm terrified to say this out loud. I don't know how do I phrase this that I don't sound like a human being that I would resent. I'm not kidding, right? I'm not kidding for what I'm about to say. An insurance company was profitable in the state of Florida.
Whoa.
Right? And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. I know I'm not supposed to like insurance companies at all because the whole thing seems like a giant scam to me until you need said insurance company, right?
Right.
But man, we have been ran through the ringer here in the state of Florida and through the ringer. And to see somebody be like post a profit, that's kind of, you're like, yay. Yeah, it's one of those things like,
can more of you come down here?
That's right. Right. Does that mean like the rest of you want to come back? This is tongue in cheek, y'all, because literally I'm not a fan of insurance companies whatsoever. And if you followed any of our videos, you know I share the truth. I have our insurance renewal right now that is due on Thursday. Juan is not paying a single cent of that until Thursday. They're not getting any of my money, not a day ahead, not 4 days ahead, none of that stuff. And we shopped our insurance like crazy. Our auto insurance, ladies, auto insurers are not taking out new policies right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. If you move to the state, yes, that's an option, but the whole thing is like whack-a-mole, y'all. I'm just telling you right now, you can get insurance. Don't let me freak you out thinking you can't, but you need to buckle up. My automotive insurance here, my renewal, I should pull it up on the screen. I'm pretty sure it's $2,400 for 6 months. And we have,
you don't want to know.
Oh, I know. We spoke about this. I'm sharing this live with everybody because Stacy and I have talked about this, but like we have one automobile that's completely paid for. So there's no lien on that. I don't even know if we do have full coverage because it was like a $12 difference not to. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So we kept the full coverage on that. And then we have a 2021 Ford Expedition. So a big one. It's not small. You know, I get that. It's not the cheapest vehicle to take care of, but like, oh, that was my entire insurance bill for 1 year when we lived in Michigan. Right. So it's definitely up there just for perspective. But like I said, how do you root for an insurance company? Yay, you made profit. It's like one of those things. But it's good news for Florida. So let's just pray that we have an uneventful hurricane season this year, because this is really where it starts, y'all. That's, you know, the season begins in June technically, but if you look at a chart, hurricanes don't really begin until the second week of August. That's when it starts, the activity starts to pick up. And usually the worst month is in September. That's when Ian came through, just so everybody knows. Okay, so just a heads up on that. Of course, we'll keep you all in the loop, right? Real time on what's going on there. But I do want to talk about some fun things happening in and around the area. And who started last week?
I think I didn't I, Marsha?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
We're going with Marcia. Marsha's on deck tonight, y'all. We're going to find out what's popping in Bradenton, Sarasota. So okay. I'm excited. Marcia, let's get this train rolling.
All right. You want to start out with the UTC Mall area?
Just tell me where I'm headed, boss.
Okay. Well, UTC Mall is, we call it UTC Mall, but it's University Town Center Mall. Did not exist 10 years ago. When I moved here 9.5 years ago, there was no mall there. And I remember people telling me they were opening an indoor mall, and I thought, I honestly didn't think they were building indoor malls anymore. They didn't seem to be a hit anymore, but this mall is different. It is packed all the time. Yes, there's over 100 stores inside. There's over 20 restaurants inside. It is super nice. And now, like Juan was saying about the hot weather, and now I understand why they built an indoor mall in Florida. So great shops in there. Everything from Saks Fifth Avenue, Macy's, Dillard's, all the regular stores that you'd see. But there's also like Crate and Barrel, Pottery Barn, just Our House, Gap. Anything you want, Lululemon, anything you want is in that mall, including
the Apple Store.
The Apple Store. There's a Tesla store. They have a couple plug-in areas for electric cars in the parking lot, which is really cool. They have a lot of, pets are allowed, but they have to be in a carrier or they have to be a service dog. So that's a little bit different than a lot of shopping in Florida, because usually places are pretty pet friendly here, including stores. They do have a complimentary Wi-Fi in the store, and it's really cool. There's an app that they have called the Mall at UTC. It's like a GPS once you're inside of there. So it'll show you where you are, tell you how to get to the store you want to go to, give you walking directions. It sends you events that are going on there. It's pretty cool. So since I've become the app expert, I thought I would add that to my fountain knowledge information.
You have become the app expert. There's no doubt about it. And y'all, she's not lying. This mall is really nice. I mean, the first time I went was it was like 6 months into COVID. Our computer had a meltdown and I had to go to the Apple Store. And I went in there and I was like, this place is incredible. Like, it was so nice. Just really well laid out. It's not complicated to get around, as you can see here. Hopefully you guys can, let me dig in on this map a little bit more. It's a very straightforward mall, lots of parking. Yeah. And also the surrounding area is full of like supporting shops, restaurants. It's like a whole, I won't say it's a village, but it's the closest thing you're ever going to get to a village vibe with a mall in the middle of it. They've done a really good job with that. And I know you've got some other things that surround this we're going to talk about here, Marcia, but across the street as well, whole another line of shopping. All the other big box stores that you would need, Best Buy, those types of things are right directly across the street here. This is a really, really nice mall. It's got great restaurants, good place to go hang out.
Yeah, some of the restaurants that are in the mall are Cheesecake Factory and the Brio Italian Grill, Kona Grill, Seasons 52, Capitol Grill. So very upscale restaurants. And I happen to know that a lot of them have really good happy hour specials. So You see a lot of people hanging out in those restaurants later in the afternoon. And then, like Juan was saying, around the mall is I was amazed by the mall, but now it's like a whole, almost like a city around it. Everything from restaurants and shops. There's a Target, Barnes and Noble. There is, let me think. I forgot. My mind went blank. Sorry.
Okay.
Home Goods, Ulta. Oh, there's a Whole Foods and a Fresh Market, and they're building a Trader Joe's that's supposed to open in the next few months. Unbelievable amounts of restaurants, from Ford's Garage to Rusty Bucket, the Shake Shack, the Yard House, Rocco's Tacos and Tequila Bar. It is packed, and you should see it at Christmas because they decorate it so pretty. There's music playing. You can drive up and down like the main drag, looking at the lights and listening to the music. They have all kinds of events during that time. So it's a really cool place to hang out. Other places to go in the area besides doing shopping is a cool place called PopStroke. And that is partially owned by Tiger Woods. So he started opening these up, and we got to have one here in Sarasota. It's an interactive golf putt-putt. It's like putt-putt golf for adults is what I say, because it looks like a regular golf course, but it's miniature. But they also have really good food. They have drinks there. They have an ice cream shop. And they have an app while you're there that you can use, that you can order food from while you're there, and they bring it out to you while you're playing golf. They also have a super scoreboard. It's really big that you can track your score, and it shows up on that scoreboard. So it makes a lot of fun. And you can have parties there. They have an event area up on the top floor that you can rent out. So it's usually packed with people. Great place to bring families, especially like when you have a variety of ages. A lot of times it's so hard to figure out a place that the little kids, the teenagers, the older people are all going to be happy. But this is one of those places. So it's a really fun place. Have you guys been to one before? Have you been to PopStroke?
Yeah, we have one in Wesley Chapel, and my family loves it.
Good.
Yeah, we've been a couple times. And another great thing about that app is that you can actually buy your ticket on that app, so you don't have to wait in line.
So
That's
good.
great.
Yeah.
There's
You just
like,
walk right
yeah, that's a huge note, Stacy. And she's brought that up a couple times. I love that. The app allows you to buy the tickets ahead of time. Like she said, you can order your food and drinks right from the app as well. They'll deliver it right to the hole that you're on, which is really cool. So this is like Top Golf meets putt-putt. That's how you should think of this. And if you haven't been to a Top Golf, that is also a very cool, experience as well.
Yes.
You've probably seen them all over the internet. But yeah, they've got cornhole boards there. There's ping pong table there, if I remember correctly. Marcia and I took clients who were in town to PopStroke. We didn't play, but we had dinner, and we actually had usually in places like that, you're kind of worried about what kind of food you're going to have. Is it like bar food essentially? And not that bar food is bad. There are some incredibly amazing bar restaurants, but for the most part, when you're in places that are that have a lot of tourism, people tend to not go all out on bar food. Right. That's just been my general experience, but this was a step above. It was really nice. Our dining experience was great. They were attentive, and it's a cool vibe. Like you're sitting there looking at people playing putt-putt, and there's a whole bunch of things going on. There's a sports bar on there. There was TVs everywhere. It is an experience. Yeah. And the thing I loved about that also with the app, Stacy, is like when you get your ticket is good for the day.
Yeah. You can stay all day.
All day. Which is really cool. So if you want to go do it in the morning and like our golfers out there that love to play 36 and be gone all day, well, like you can go do that. I wouldn't recommend it in August and September. God bless you if you want to get out there and sweat it out. If you're going to do it, go in the morning and go in the evening. But this place, I'm telling you right now, both these locations from October to basically May will just be sold out every day.
Yeah.
Because it is
I think the location was well thought out too, because like if there's families again or couples, the guys could go play golf over there while the women went shopping for a little while, and then you can meet up for dinner there. So it's
that's a great idea, Marcia. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Entertainment. So another really cool place right next to that is Nathan Benderson Park, and it is a world-class recreational facility with 600 acres, including a 400-acre lake. And the lake is well known for rowing. So it's right along I-75 as UTC as well. So as you're driving along, you're going to see the mall. Then you see this huge lake, and you'll see people walking, cycling, rollerblading, running around the lake. It's a 3.5-acre walk, or I'm sorry, 3.5-mile walk. And if you look at the picture Juan has right now, you see going through the center of the lake is a walkway. So I've done walks there for the Breast Cancer Society, and it's so cool because they open that up to do part of the walk, and they'll have a band on there, and it is a super cool park. And to the left there's a 6-story tower, and you can rent that out for parties. You can have meetings there, and it's a great observation station for when they're doing events there. Like I said, they have the Cancer Walk, they have 4th of July fireworks, they have rowing regattas there. Normally to go to the park, it's free, but when they do have those events, I think they do charge, to come to the event. It's not that you're at the park.
When I was there filming for our Sarasota video, they had a concert going on, and they do like ski competitions there.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there's just a lot of stuff going on at that park, and this is right next to UTC Mall. Just so you guys get perspective, it's like right out. I mean, it's probably a mile away, but it looks like it's right next door. Just the way everything's laid out, it all ties together, right? Which is really cool. I'll have to show it to you on the map in a second. We'll pull it up on the map so y'all can see.
I was looking at the different things. They have a turkey trot on Thanksgiving morning at 8 a.m. And They said last year there's like 4,000 people there. So I think something like that would be super fun to start out Thanksgiving morning doing. So that's a fun thing. They also have the Benderson Chase, which is November 18th and 19th, which is rowing competition. And then this weekend, they're having the Florida Special Olympics for stand-up paddleboarding championship. So I think that would be super cool to see. So they have all kinds of things happening there. Like I said, it's a great, beautiful, huge park and located right next to UTC Mall. And then a couple other things that are coming is the Tesla dealership, which is a 55,000 square foot showroom, and it's located right outside of the UTC Mall between it and University Town Center Boulevard. And that's going to be a hit, I'm sure, because it's a popular area. You see Tesla's, like everywhere. I said, Tesla dealership in the mall, but they're also building this large showcase, and they have the electric plugins outside. And then lastly, at the mall, they're building the Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium, which they're going to be opening in fall of next year, which is a $132 million science education project. And it's going to be awesome. There's so many great displays that they have, and they have great plans for an aquarium. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, those cranes been out there for a while now. It's been cool to watch that development. There's always stuff going on right there. Like the aquarium's right next to PopStroke. PopStroke and the aquarium are right next to Benderson Park. They're like kind of in between Benderson Park and UTC. So if you had to, again, seeing it on the map, jump back over there so y'all can kind of get perspective on this. All right, so here's Benderson Park right here. 1 second. The mall's just to the north, if y'all can see it there. So let me pull my arrows back up so everybody can get perspective. So here's the mall, right? There's PopStroke right there. And the aquarium is going right here, I believe, right next to it. It's like in between. And then you go around this little, this driveway, which takes you back out the University Parkway. But this is the main thoroughfare as you come through here. And then that'll take you over to Benderson Park, where Marsha's talking about right now. And you can see how big this this lake is. It's enormous. This whole area is like 600 acres, I think it is, Marsha. It's enormous, right?
The lake's 400 acres and the park's 600 acres.
Yeah.
So pretty much the lake takes up a good portion of the park.
But you can go here and spend an entire day easily.
Yeah.
I mean, breakfast, hanging out, going to the park, walking with the kids, there's so many things to do. PopStroke. So like, I love this area. Very rarely do you see this much packed into this spot, and it's not overwhelming. I will say this, just so everybody knows this ahead of time. When you get off I-75, there is 4 full lanes turn to the left and head south into the mall. That's how much traffic comes into that place, but it flows extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
They do a nice job. I don't think I've ever waited more than 2 light cycles to get from the highway into that mall, and that was at a busy time of the year. I'm sure it can be more, but it's designed well. It's really well thought through.
Yeah, it's a great place. I feel like I said I was wrong when they said they're building an indoor mall, and I guess I just pictured the old malls. You know, I hadn't been to a brand new mall in so many years, but now I understand why it's indoors, and there's so much. If you don't want to go indoors, there's so many options that you can just pull up to and go inside as well. So it's a really cool shopping area.
Great chairs.
Now for a little bit of real estate talk. We all go through, or we help you go through the process of getting pre-approved, finding an area, finding a house, going through the inspection. It's all exciting. You're ready to go to your closing, but you can't. Not until you do your final walkthrough. And people, it's not the funnest part of the experience, but it's a really important part of the experience because it's your last chance to know what that house is made of and what you're going to be getting. So we are very, not pushy, but very stern on us doing that final walkthrough with you. Yep. It's really important. So you're going to be looking for things like, did they make the repairs that you asked for? Did anything happen since that time? Was anything damaged maybe when the people moved out? Or did something happen that they didn't even know about? They could have moved out 2 weeks before and something happened. So it's very important to do that. And we like to do it with you. So the things I would recommend is, and the questions that we have about it is, when should you do the final walkthrough? And we always say as close to the closing as possible. Best time would be a few hours before the closing, but definitely not more than 2 or 3 days. Because again, we're looking for anything that could have happened once the sellers moved out. So it's important for you to go walk the property and check all the things you had asked for. And like I said, check for things that you weren't aware of. Once the property is vacant, sometimes we see things that we didn't see when they were in there, but it's really not time for you to start picking new items. That's not what the final walkthrough is for. So it's just to make sure things were corrected or nothing big happened in between. Yep. Who should go to the final walkthrough is the buyers and their realtor. Normally the seller would not attend that. Although I've had situations where the buyer requested the seller to be there and they were there. It's usually because there's a lot of equipment or things that they want the seller to explain to them, like how to run, electronics or the pool, or I think the first walkthrough I went to for you, Juan, was a family that was buying a home, but it also had a barn, and the sellers were there to explain all the different, how to run everything there. So there are times that the seller is there, and it is beneficial.
Yeah. It's always nice to get that handoff, especially because listen, y'all, like think of it this way. Whether you rent an apartment now or you're a homeowner, if you've lived in a place for more than 3 months, you know all the quirks right? All the little idiosyncrasies that are about that house that no one else does, right? Like maybe the garage door opens a very specific way, or if the car's sitting in a certain spot, the radio frequency controller won't make it work. Like this stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
So, or the mail is a specific, it needs a specific thing, or it's in a specific location. It's just really nice to be able to do that. A lot of the times that is handled at the closing table, but you may be in a situation where you're not able to meet the seller ahead of time, or it's just not, maybe you don't want to meet the seller, and that's okay. So we try to get all of that information up front when we can. Garbage, when's garbage night, when's recycling. We try to get all those things ahead of time, but the walkthrough component specifically is extremely valuable. Marcia's right about this. Like we have had clients request 2 or 3 days ahead of time. It's not preferred. I mean, after 11 years, I've seen a lot of things happen in this business. And there has been times when clients have done an inspection earlier than we would have hoped. And something happens in between that and closing. And guess what? At closing, it's just part of the deal. I have a client who ended up buying a commercial building that we didn't, we weren't part of that transaction because it was for his construction company. And that after closing, he went to the house and the plumbing had burst.
Oh,
and it was pouring down the ceiling when they walked into the house. Yep. And it's crazy when you think about that, right? Like it literally, and he went to the walkthrough in the morning. So that's how crazy things can happen. Now that is 1 in a million, but it occurred, right? And air conditioners can break in between. These things happen. So the ideal way to go about this is to have the walkthrough the morning of the closing. That is an ideal way. That way, if anything comes up, you can either put a hold on the transaction because the buyer does not have to move forward if there's something wrong with the house. In our contracts, it says the buyer has to, or the seller has to deliver the property in the condition that the buyer accepted the contract on. That's what our contracts say, right? So if something is messed up there, guess what? Right? Guess what? That's where it's at. So just be mindful that you really want to do your best work, but you're going to go in, check the air conditioner, run the plumbing, flush all the toilets, man. Like this is one of those things. And Marcia, you're bringing up a really good point. When you're going on a walkthrough on a property, when you're looking at homes to purchase, and I learned this from another agent, it was brilliant because I never used to check this. She would run the shower and the water while she was at the house that she was considering buying, because she wanted to know the water pressure, right? Because she had bought a home before that did not have good water pressure. And she's like, I'm never going to do that again. And I was like, that's actually really smart. It's really smart. Just turn it on, make sure, because we've all seen that house, right? Or you've been in a hotel or something and you turn the water on. And it's like, I'll be in there for a week, right? Like that's the kind of stuff you don't want to have happen. You can find that out ahead of time, obviously prior to the walkthrough, but just be mindful, right? Just be mindful of what's going on there. So,
and if you do find something, there are some, options. Like you could, if there was enough time before closing, they might still be able to get a repair made. You might be able to, they might give you credit to get the repair after you close. And then the worst case scenario is you walk away, and none of us want that to happen because the buyers have their moving truck and the sellers have moved out, and it would be a nightmare, but it does happen. But most of the time, final walkthroughs go very well, but it's just really important for people to take the time to do it.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's just, again, you're doing your diligence, making sure that what you're trying to purchase is what you thought it was. And it's just important to go through. You can't ever catch everything, but it's just an easy way to make sure that the things that you thought were in order are in order. Like you said, if there were repairs that were requested, now it's your time to just double check and make sure that they're good. right? Go ahead and up to your satisfaction. And if there's an issue, you can delay closing, right? Again, it has to be delivered in the condition, right? There's ways to go about it. You can put money in escrow. The seller can put money in escrow to get things fixed. They can call for repair. You can reschedule the closing, both if the seller and the buyer sign an extension. You can delay the closing. There's a lot of different ways to go about this, but this is super important stuff. So Marcia, thank you for bringing that up. I don't think that we hit on the details because they're not the sexiest thing in the world, but y'all, this is why you hire somebody to help guide you through the process.
To make you do the unfun stuff.
Well, that's because that's how we roll, right? So I love it. I think this is great. So we'll put this guide. There's the ultimate guide for the final walkthrough. But if you want our personal walkthrough checklist, which we send to our clients, reach out to the team. Send me a message. Leave a comment, and I'd be more than happy to send that to you. I'll show it to you right now. That's what I was sharing as we got going. But we have this checklist after years and years of experience going through the process. It gives you an idea of what you should expect, how to prepare for it. We give this to our clients ahead of the closing. That way, when they walk in, they're ready to roll. Okay, cool. I've got my checklist of things I want to do. Make sure I've got all this information. Make sure I've checked all these things. Yeah, I feel comfortable. Now I'm ready to go ahead and close. So we'd be more than happy to provide that to you as well. So that's great share. Absolutely. Great share, Marcia. What else? You got anything else?
That's it for today. I probably went over my time.
We only have one app today. I feel like I've been cheated.
I gave you two. I had the UTC Mall app and the PopStroke app.
That's right.
She gave us two.
You gave us two. See, look at that. Look at that. She is Johnny on the spot over there. I love it, Marcia. Thank you. That's fantastic.
You're very welcome.
Let's get into some of these comments, y'all. And hey, if you're getting value out of this, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit those like buttons too, because it lets people know that there's value here. So we would appreciate that greatly, y'all. We would appreciate that greatly. All right. And we had some check-ins tonight. Kevin, who's a regular with us. Kevin, what's up, my man? Kevin's out there in Lakeland. He's always watching. We appreciate you, Kevin. I'm ready for October to switch to the warm weather, the dry. It's been dry. It has been hard for me during the summer. Yeah, it's been rough. Anybody out there working outside, man, God bless y'all. It's not easy to do. And then Dennis says, we just went under contract in Apollo Beach. Love the videos, and they really helped us pick our spot. Dennis, congratulations. My eye is twitching. Did you see that, Dennis? My eye's twitching. Congratulations. No, man, that's great. That's what these videos are for, y'all. We would love if you called us to help you with those properties. But hey, it does happen. I understand we're not everybody's cup of tea. But if you are considering buying, selling, or relocating to the Tampa Bay area, reach out to us. Our team is happy to help. All of our contact information is down below. But that's great, Dennis. I'd love to know what community you bought in, because there's some really, really nice communities over in Apollo Beach. I'd love to know that. It'd be awesome. Cool. So Stacy, we're going to head up north now. We're going to head up to Pasco. And I would love to know what's happening up in Pasco County.
Well, you won't believe it, but there is another new master plan community coming up to San Ann.
I'm shocked.
I know. Shocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be down the street from Murata. So it's going to be on State Road 52 and Old Pasco Road.
Okay.
I don't know a lot of details about it. I actually was talking to, I forget who I was talking to. Oh, it was this guy. He's going to remodel our bathroom, and he was telling me about this. And I was like, yeah, I think I saw them developing that land. So then I started digging into it, and sure enough, there's another master plan community coming into town. It's going to be 1,400 residential units. There's going to be a commercial space there as well. And there's also an Amazon going to be close to that location, an Amazon distribution center.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, big things happening in San Antonio.
It is. I'll tell you what, y'all, that is a very interesting comment for her to say, because it's one of those spots that is, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I just couldn't. I'm gonna be honest. I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. But that's the whole thing with, like, build it and they will come, right, ladies? Like, sometimes you just got to have a big vision. And I got to give those guys credit because, you know, Murata is stunning, and you know, it's not going to be for everybody. The way that I equate these things is kind of like it's for park people, if that makes sense.
Park people?
Yeah. Well, like, what I mean by that is like people who love theme parks will like a place like the Lagoon, right? And I say that, but I like the Lagoon, and I'm not a park person. This is why I'm bringing this up, because like it's easy to just kind of discount things because that's not your quote unquote thing. But when you see something like this with your own eyes, and then you see the community that's wrapped around it, it's incredible. They really built this thing it was in the middle of nowhere, developed this land, and it's incredible. The amenities that this community has, you know, off-leash dog parks and tot lots and playgrounds and, you know, golf cart paths and bike paths and ultra wide park sidewalks, which is cool. Heck, half the homes I lived in as a kid never even had a sidewalk. And I didn't realize how important it was until I was an adult and had a family and started walking my kids around. And like all of a sudden I was like, it really stinks every time you run into a neighborhood that doesn't have sidewalks. Right. So these things matter, right? Like they really matter. So, and Murata's like 35 minutes north of Tampa, depending on traffic and where you're at. Like we always try to share the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Like at peak times, it can be 55. I'm sure if there was an accident, it'd take you an hour to get home. It's one of those areas that like, it's not right downtown, but most of the people who live here aren't commuting to Tampa. This community is full of, you know, employees who are either part-time in the office or fully remote. That is typically the ideal resident. And it's got a mix of active adult community, which is the retirement community. They don't call it that anymore, right? We've got fancy terms for everything now. But their active adult community, which is cool. It's got bocce ball courts and tennis courts and pickleball court, everything. I'm telling you right now, everything is there. And then they're building all the shopping around it, and you have access to all of the incredible shopping in Wesley Chapel. So like, if the suburbs are your thing and you don't want to, you want the beach, but you don't want the beach prices, and you want new, because that is the real challenge of living in Tampa Bay. If you want a new property on the water, it is millions, plural. Plural, right? If you want a new home anywhere near the water in say Pinellas County or Sarasota, you know, you're talking at least on the cheap side, $850. You're not going to be on the water. You're just going to be in the community next to it. Right. So like these things are important to keep in perspective. Over here, you can still buy a single family home brand new for the right now they're looking at the high threes. That's really very affordable for the area. So just bringing that up as we talk about what's out there. The lagoons are semi-private. Okay, so they are residents focused and resident first, but they have public tickets that you can purchase. So if you live in this new community that Stacy's referring to, you can drive down the road, and for $41, you can take your behind in there all day and go hang out. Right? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So again, shame on me judging a book by its cover just because it was so far out there. But like when you go, man, it's actually a very cool spot. And it's 15 acres, that lagoon is. It's insane. They can't fit it in that entire photo, y'all. You don't think it would be there if it could? They can't fit it in. That's how big the thing is. You got to get a satellite and watch it from NASA. It's insane.
So all that Wesley Chapel growth is heading a little farther north.
It really is. So that's the next expansion too. So if you're thinking like, where's a strong investment opportunity for my my home purchase, that's where it's going. All right, that's where it's going. So heads up.
So I'll keep you updated as soon as I get some more details about what's coming in there. I'll let you know.
Cool.
Yep. And then let's see, the long-awaited Wiregrass Ranch Boulevard is fully open. So Wesley Chapel residents can be super excited that they can avoid some of that traffic going through town. So it's connecting Highway 54 and Highway 56. So it's a major improvement for north and south travel in the area. So it's a nice little shortcut to avoid traffic.
It's right over by the what's the sports complex over there that we went to?
Oh, the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Complex?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where the school is. They're building that Orlando Health hospitals right over there on the corner.
Yep.
Yeah. So
show you all on the map real quick so you guys can get perspective on it.
So you no longer have to go all the way around. You can cut right through.
It is right here where they don't have it attached anymore, correct? This will now be updated. And it will go here and then here all the way up to there. So for those of you wondering, and the Orlando Health is right here on this corner. That's where that is. So really, that's cool. That's another thoroughfare that was needed.
Yes.
And for right now, there's not a whole lot of commerce here or housing. So like it's going to be a pretty laid back shot through there for the next probably couple of years.
I know. I'm jealous because when I lived out there, I'd have to go all the way around to go to Walmart. And I was always, then they opened that short little stretch. And so you could do a little jog, but it was like, man, open that road. So I have to go all the way around.
But it's, it's open now. Yeah, let me go back up to lagoons just for perspective. So for everyone wondering where we were talking about earlier, just to gain perspective on the whole area. So here's the Epperson Lagoon in Wesley Chapel. That first arrow there. We need a stronger view.
Thank you.
My old eyes don't work that well either. All right, where are we at? There we go. Okay, just to dial it in. That's better. All right, so if we pull up our map real quick. So here's Epperson, the original lagoon that was 7.5 acres, man-made. First one that came to the area, awesome. And then San Antonio is to the north here, and the lagoon is right up in this area right here. Okay, so it's not on here right now, but it's right there. And then downtown San Antonio is just to the northeast of that. In terms of perspective. But the thing I love about it, like it's 7 minutes to the highway from San Antonio, which is really, really nice. Epperson is overpass. They have opened the overpass road exit now in Wesley Chapel as well, which gave a lot of relief. So that's nice too. So both of these direct access, and they're so close to each other. I know people are wondering why would they build them that close to each other? Because it really is. They're like two different worlds. You know what I mean? And there's another one going over in Angeline here, pretty soon. And then Sea Air is going to be built down in Parrish as well. So these lagoon communities are incredible. If you've not seen our most recent video, this was last Saturday. We toured a $550,000 multi-generational home, which I thought was awesome, right? Literally, it has 2 master suites in it. So if you're taking care of family or you're just deciding to live with family and split the cost, like it's a great option for that. And then we also toured a $1 million Homes by West Bay, which was the what model was that? It was
Biscayne 2.
The Biscayne 2, which is my favorite floor plan in all Tampa Bay. It's incredible. Go check that out. You will not be disappointed. We covered everything in there. CDD fees, HOA, we covered it. If you want to know it, it's in there, y'all. So that's pretty cool. That's great. Great share, Stacy. What else you got?
Well, I think there's going to be a chicken tender throwdown in Wesley Chapel. There's a new chicken tender franchise opening up in Wesley Chapel on August 24th called Slim Chicken. Have you guys heard of that franchise before?
Slim Chicken is being thrown in, huh?
Slim Chicken.
I have not.
Yeah. So, there's PDQ and Wesley Chapel and Chic-fil-a. And so now there's Slim Chicken. And so now your kids can argue over which
Wesley
chicken
Chapel Boulevard.
they're going to have.
Do you know if it's a chain or is it just an individual?
It's a chain. Yeah, it's a franchise.
Chain for sure. All right. So Slim Chickens, y'all. This is
Slim Chickens.
This better be good chicken. Listen, there's a lot to live up to. Chick-fil-A is the undisputed king of chicken in the state of Florida. Make no mistake about it. This isn't close. There's always a PDQ like almost directly across the street from every Chick-fil-A, not literally, but it seems like quite often. And then also Joella's Hot Chicken, and their parking lots are always empty. And then people are parked on the most busy street in the entire county waiting to get in the Chick-fil-A parking lot. This is normal.
Yeah.
So I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved here 9 years ago, there was only a PDQ. It's all the chickens we had.
Look, Marcia.
Now we got 3 choices.
They got an app for that.
Oh, wow.
I love that. I love it. Well, you can get on their waiting list. All right, 100% all natural chicken. Well, I hope it's all natural. What else is chicken made with? Is there something that I need to be aware of at Chick-fil-A? Buttermilk. All right, I'm a fan. All right, now I'm salivating. All I want to know is if they got spicy chicken. Spicy chicken is the whole key to the whole thing. And peanut oil. If you're not frying in peanut oil, it ain't right. I don't care what anybody says, but this is cool. Look at all those sauces. All right, now we're starting to speak the same language. Let's see. All right, I'm down. I love slim chickens.
The colors are just like Chick-fil-A.
They really are. That's weird. Right? That's awesome.
That's what I mean. There's going to be a war.
Yeah.
Chicken dinner war.
There's definitely going to be a war. Let's grab some of these comments real quick and we'll jump back in. Dennis, I think Dennis told us where it's at. So we've got a shout out to Marcia. Deborah Lackner says, hi, Marcia. Awesome. Deborah, where are you watching from? We'd love to know. Dennis said he bought in Bimini Bay. Very cool, man.
Nice.
Congratulations. That's a nice area. Yeah, it is a nice community.
He said he'd call us when they sell.
Thanks. I appreciate that. We appreciate you. Oh, that's great. No, man, enjoy it. That's great. It's a good community. I think you'll love it. So that's fantastic. And then awesome. Okay, cool. So what else you got?
Well, I love helping families relocate to Florida because we relocated my family to Florida, when my kids were, actually I had one in elementary school, middle school, and going into high school.
Yep.
So, I know how challenging and stressful it can be. So, and it's hard to leave your family and move away, but it's been a great experience and something that it's really been a blessing. And something that we didn't know that Florida had to offer us was all these benefits that the Sunshine State offers in raising your children here in Florida.
Okay, hold on. Before you get into this, I have to stop you because this is what she's about to share is incredible. I want to slow the room down and let everybody know because I didn't know either. Stacy, I had no clue. And then Stacy filled me in on this. I was like, one more time, you want to walk me through that? Like, slow this train down a little bit and help me understand what you're saying out loud because all I heard was education and little to no cost for in-state college education because I'm a resident. So get your notepads out. Get ready. If you have students, right? If you have children, you're planning on putting them into Florida schools. And if they're anywhere near collegiate age, you are going to want to hear what this woman has to say.
Yep.
All right. So the floor is yours.
All right. So listen up. The state of Florida offers programs to help paying for your kids' college education. So they have the Florida prepay, which is unlike the 529 plan because Florida prepay plan locks in the price of tuition at the time of enrollment. So tuition increases at American universities an average of 8% per year.
It's insane.
Yeah. So at that rate, a child born this year, that child would face college costs more than 3 times the amount it costs today.
It's going to be $1 million to send your child to school in 30 years is what's going to happen.
So unfortunately, we did not take advantage of this program. I wish we had, but you'll have to read about it. Of course, there are some, restrictions.
Let's look at a five-year-old. Let's do an example right now. All right.
It's just amazing. I know families who have done this and it's It's huge. Huge.
Okay. So here's a pre-played. I'm running a plan on a 5-year-old. Okay, so just so everybody's on the same page. Birthday 5/15 in kindergarten. So here's how this works, right? Oh, you can pay a lump sum. This is interesting. All right, so 151 monthly payments is what this is, but it locks in tuition at today's rate. That's what Stacy is saying here that is important to note, right? Because you're looking at today's money, y'all. And I understand that, like, that's how we all look at things, right? Today's money. But as you've all seen, and we're going to talk about inflation here before we get off today. We've all seen that our money does not spend the same, right? 3 years, 5 years, 10, 20 years down the road, it does not spend the same, right? Your money's devalued constantly. This is going to lock you in at today's tuition rates. So if college continues on its ridiculous, horrifying trend that it's been on, that the joke I made about college costing $1 million, that might be real in 30 years. We have no idea. We're not going to go 30 years out, right? But obviously, it would be nothing for us to not expect tuition to double in the next 15 years. The way things are going, I think that's a realistic expectation. It sounds crazy, but it's true. So 151 payments is what it breaks down to. You can do a 5-year payment. That's interesting. So 55 payments or a lump sum. And the way they break it down here is you can do 2 years in-state college for $8,300 right now. Oh.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. $8,300 for 2 years. You can go to Florida State. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You can go to Tallahassee and be a caterer.
Yeah.
You can go to USF.
Tallahassee does have a cheaper tuition though.
Well,
but still,
these prices are insane. $17,800 for a 4-year college plan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, y'all. I know things have gotten more expensive, and I hear it from our residents, right? I understand that, but I'm telling you right now, the overall cost of living in Florida is still low. It's on par with the rest of the country, and less than those other the big areas, New York and Boston, and that's obvious. But like, I know it's not easy. We're going to talk about that, right? I'm not immune to that at all, but like, this is incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah, and I believe that even if your child gets scholarship money and there's money left over, you can still use that to pay for like their living expenses, like the dorms and stuff like that.
I know you guys can't read that, but that says cancel anytime for a full refund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Full refund. Use in and out of state. I'm telling you, send Stacy Slim Chickens gift cards. Chickens gift cards. Her family will appreciate it.
You do not realize how quickly it sneaks up on you. And if you have more than one kid,
man,
I mean, I'm having a child in college for 10 years.
This is crazy.
I have 3 kids. Yeah. So it's like,
right here.
That would have been awesome if we did that.
Earn a AA at a state college and guaranteed admission in any state university. 1 year university plan, 4-year university plan. This is incredible. This is incredible. So this is a huge share, y'all. Huge.
Yeah, and I think you can even use it for private schools. It just doesn't, I don't think they lock in the rate, but you can still take that money you saved and put it towards a private college too.
Yep. And
so there's options.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. And this is my favorite one. Florida has a Bright Future Scholarship, and anyone can qualify for this. So if your child does these things, they get the scholarship. Like, you don't have to compete with other students, and there's not only so many scholarships available. It's flat out, if you do these things, you qualify. and it's funded by the state of Florida. And there's 2 different levels of scholarships. There is one that will pay 100% of your tuition, and another one that will pay 75% of your tuition.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the general requirements are you do have to be a Florida resident. You do have to earn a diploma from a Florida high school. Even you can do a private school. It is also available to homeschool programs. But there's a GPA requirement, an SAT and an ACT score requirement, and you have to do 100 hours of community service within the 4 years you're in high school.
Okay.
They also have a program where they have a scholarship where they will award career education or certificate programs too. So it's not just a four-year college. You can go to a tech school as well and get it paid for.
That's great, because there's more and more that's an important note also. So thank you for bringing that up, right? Because there are more and more young people who are deciding to skip college and the giant bill that comes along with it, right? Mm-hmm. And go into the trades, which, as most of you are well aware, a lot of the trades is dominated by boomers and Gen X's, and they expect a majority of those people to start retiring here. So those jobs are opening up, and those jobs pay extremely well. And shame on our society for telling people that those jobs are beneath you, because they're not. And they're extremely important, as y'all are finding. And there's not enough good tradespeople in the industry, period. And there's not enough young people right now to backfill the jobs, these holes. You think trades are expensive now? Y'all wait till there's only 1 or 2 qualified technicians to handle an HVAC repair, right? This is not where we want to be. So I love that. I think that that's great. Being able to apply that to a trade like that, that's fantastic. So that's another win. This is great. Florida Bright Futures. You can go to Florida Student Financial AIDS.org. That is I'll put that in the chat, because there's no way anybody's going to remember that, but it's Florida Student Financial AIDS, AIDS, G, the letter G at the end of that, .org.
If you have any questions, please reach out. I was very fortunate that my kids qualified for this program and they got their tuition paid for. I just had to pay for their living expenses, and it has been amazing.
Yeah, this is great. This is a really cool program. So thanks again. This is like earth shattering to me. I've been living here for almost 5 years and had no idea that this existed. So that's a huge win. I'm a big fan of shares like this. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Deborah says, Deborah's in Long Island. Oh, Deborah. I didn't recognize the last name. Forgive me. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a wonderful family. We just helped find a condo down in Bradenton. Well, Marsha, I say we. Right? I held down the fort while Marsha was on vacation. Marsha came back and did what she does best, which is help clients find incredible housing. So good job, Marsha. Thank you.
They're a great couple. I really enjoyed working with them. And we went out to dinner the night they closed on their villa and had a blast. They're super fun. I'm excited about them coming back.
Yeah, that's great. You guys are awesome. Well, I want to talk about some things. Y'all know we try to share. Not everything's perfect. This is the way the world works, right? Like, I love being able to show up here and pour into the community and share what's going on in our world. Tampa Bay is not slowed down, so to speak, right? In Florida in general, just so many people are moving here, which is great, but it also comes with its challenges. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to start with some good news on that end. And just kind of talk about some of the challenges that it's presented here in Tampa Bay and across the country right now. Like, we're all feeling it. I know it's true, but it's always nice to see our name hit a great list. And Florida's just ranked among the top 10 states to live in. And this is coming from Wallet Hub, which is great. So this is an independent third party, y'all. This is not somebody in the state of Florida saying Florida's awesome. This is a national company that does this report every single year, and they rank states based upon economy, cost of living, and education. There's some other factors that go into it, but this is something to take note of. But I wanted to share this with y'all. This is a really cool a program how they have set up. You can go on there and you can just hover over the state, and it'll show you where the state ranks, and then you click into it and it'll show you why, which I think is really cool. So you go into there. But it said that New York State is actually the fourth best, which I thought was interesting. Where was it? New Jersey ranks number 2 on the list. And then Massachusetts, if I can, it's freaking tiny in here. Massachusetts ranked number 1 on that list. So like the Northeast is kind of dominating over there. And then you get out to Wyoming, which ranked number 5. Utah is at 15. This one surprised me. Texas is 37. I thought it would be higher. Right. As many people has been moving to Texas for the last 5 years. I just assumed it would be higher. We ranked number 6. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, it's based upon quality of life, economy, and education. And I thought that was pretty neat. But here's something this is why we're feeling a lot of pain here for local residents. And, I have conversations with people and they'll tell me, they're like, this is unaffordable. No one can afford this. And while I agree that the average salary cannot, you guys, you're not wrong. I look at these things too, and I'm like, man, to be in a place where housing is tripled anywhere in this country, no matter where you are, if housing is tripled underneath you, it is a very tough road to hoe, right? Not including again, inflation is going down, except on the things that you and I buy, right? Like what? Housing, food, and fuel. Those things are not going down. They are continuing to go up, right? And I don't care whose plan. I don't care what color is in the office. They can't listen. My checkbook does not lie, and it is also not allied with any color politically. It cares about only one thing: inflow and outflow. That's it, right? Right? Are you with me, ladies? Like this is the reality, right? But I found this fascinating that Wallet Hub found that another report, Smart Assets found that the Sunshine State attracted the most high income households in the entire country. So this is why we're feeling this. This is why we're feeling this. In San Antonio, just a side note here, since we were talking about Murata, Pasco County and San Antonio specifically has that is one of the highest income areas in the entire state of Florida. It ranks well above the average in the state, which I found fascinating. I did not know that. There's a lot of ranchers out there. There's some high income earners out there. But like this Smart Asset found that the Sunshine State attracted the most high income households making over $200,000 a year in 2021. That's when this went back to. Y'all, we have done nothing but crank down since 2021. More and more people move here. Over 1,200 people are moving to Florida a day. And they're bringing their high incomes. So I'm sharing this with y'all so you can just kind of put that in the back of your mind. I understand, but this is what's happening. So when you're feeling out there, you're not wrong. Okay. When you say, I feel it too. And I understand. This article was just released 4 days ago by Moody. Moody is an analytics company that keeps track of all the things. And you can see on this line here, I'll read it to y'all. It might be a little bit small, but it says, the typical American household spent $709 more in July than they did 2 years ago to buy the same goods and services, according to Moody Analytics.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The typical American household, they're saying the average household spent $709 more in the month of July in 2022 than they did in 2020. That is why things hurt. Right? Oh my word, man. That's like $9,000 a year. Whatever the math is. I'm not quick at the math. Right? Oh my word. 8,600 or something, whatever the number is. That is most people's wages are not keeping up with that. Right? So even though prices have soared, real earnings, real earnings. That's my favorite term there. Not the fake earnings, not the earnings that the government is talking about that they put up on a page that nobody can feel. Real earnings, which adjust for inflation, are stuck in the late 2019 levels. So this is why this pain, you're feeling this pain, right? Like your money's spending like it's 2019, but we're living in 2023 getting our behinds handed to us, right? Gas at the pump here right now is what, 380s, lady? It's 380. That's when I filled up the other day, 380, right? There's no way milk isn't expensive when it costs 380 just to fill up a car. And I'm not buying diesel. That stuff's very expensive, right? So this is something to keep in perspective. This is not just a Florida thing. This is a United States thing. $709 more in the month of July than they did in 2020. That is tough. All right. So just keep that in perspective. Another thing that I don't love, since I'm on the focus of calling governments out for not doing what they say they're going to do, might as well just keep rolling with it. Our lovely government here in Tampa has proposed a spending opportunity, a tax increase of nearly $2 billion. All right, so that's the budget for the proposed budget, and what that means to you as a Tampa homeowner. And here's what I want to get into, because this is where it matters. Oh, my article was saved and now it's gone. This is what you need to know. The proposed millage increase would generate about $45 million to help long deferred maintenance costs, more public safety personnel, which is great, updated equipment to keep the population growth, and more, according to the mayor's office. All that stuff's fine. I get it. We've got to make adjustments based upon our growth. Okay, so, but that means that you and I got to cover this cost. So if you live in Tampa, this is being voted on, y'all. You need to, if you're not interested in having this happen, you need to get loud, you need to get vocal, and you need to get into those meetings. Okay. Current homeowners have in Tampa have a 6.21 millage rate. The proposed hike would be one full millage point, taking it up to 7.21. What that means is, okay, I want to break this down into simple math. Currently in Tampa, this means for every $1,000 that your home is valued at, okay, $6.21 is taken out for taxes. With the new rate, that would go to $7.21 for every $1,000 of assessed value. There is a lot of homes in Tampa that are worth well over $500,000. Right, our median home price is like $420 something right now. I'll pull that up in a second. But to buy the average home, ladies, as we're all well aware, in Tampa, we're talking mid fives easy, right? Unless you want to live in something that needs a lot of love in an area that you may not necessarily love, right? But you want to live in South Tampa, you're talking 800,000, 850 just to start sniffing the lawn over there, right? So these are very large tax sites. I just want you to be aware. And it's one of those double-edged swords, right? Like I don't want to sit on here and say that it's not important to invest in where you live, because it absolutely is. You can't have the growth we're having and not expect to have it beat up if you're not reinvesting. This is the double-edged sword that you walk on, right? But at the same time, as a homeowner, these are unrealized gains, y'all. Remember, there's this scuttlebutt going around right now that they're talking about taxing us on unrealized capital gains, meaning that if you owned a $400,000 home 3 years ago and that home is now worth quote unquote $650, but you still live in it and haven't sold it and haven't done anything with it, they could tax you on the $250,000 of unrealized gains.
Yikes.
That sounds exciting, right? Also, your stock portfolios and your 401ks, the money that you haven't touched that you're deferring, yeah, guess what? They also get the tax on money that you have never touched, okay? Now, I'm not saying this is happening, but they're talking about it. That's what a millage hike is, okay? You need it for the civil services, but at the same time, you're being taxed on unrealized gains, because the tax assessor comes out next year and says your house is worth more, even though you didn't sell it for any more money. You still live in it. So these are the challenges that come around with this stuff. And hear my heart when I say this, y'all. Like, I understand we need to invest in our law enforcement. We need to invest in our teachers. We need to invest in our public safety. We need to invest in education. All of those things are true. And I am a proponent for those things. But You need to be mindful of how these people are handling your cash, because make no mistake about it, these people produce nothing and their only job is to cash your checks. Is that too strong? Was that too strong? I love my politicians, y'all. I love it. See, this is why I'm not one. I'm not one, right? I understand, I appreciate, I respect, but I'm also not somebody who's just going to put my head in the sand and go, yeah, it's fine. Whatever you need from me, it's all good. Right? It's all good. Just cut my bank account's up at Chase. Y'all can go get it there. They'll just hand you whatever you want. Right? And I'm just sharing this with you because if you're a Floridian, that's not how we roll. We don't roll like that. Right? Got to keep these people in check. Love them, appreciate, respect, but question everything. Shout out from your boy. The ladies were not ready for me to go tangent on this tonight. But no, and like I said, with all due respect, I appreciate it. I understand. I even am a proponent for this. I think that our teachers, and I have an article that I'm not going to share. I'm going to go deeper on this next week, that says the average teacher in America can only afford 12% of the housing that is within 30 minutes of the schools they teach at. That is not okay. That's not okay. Right. So you're talking to somebody who sells real estate. I appreciate when my home value goes up, but I also understand the effect that this has on everyone. And this is important to note. So like I said, please hear my heart when you hear me talking about this. Right. I'm all good with paying to invest in the future, but we have to keep the people who are writing the checks in check with what they're doing with that. Right. Because the people that are actually supposed to be taking care of our best interests are in trouble and they're struggling. Right. If 12% of the teachers in this country cannot afford to purchase a home within 30 minutes of where they teach, something is not right. Okay. And I went to school to be a teacher. So yes, I'm super fired up on this. Yes, I'm fired up on it. So, and with all that being said, let me take my blood pressure down a little bit, right? And that's what got me to this point. I was like, how does that happen, ladies? Like I started on this article about the teachers and I'm like, this can't be real. And then I look at, the average salary of a teacher, especially the new ones. I do recognize that there are tenured teachers that make really good income. Do they make good income for what they have to deal with? I don't know. I decided not to go in that profession because I didn't like the exchange. As a new teacher, I thought it was a terrible financial opportunity. And it was never going to get me to where I wanted to be financially. And I love teaching. Obviously, I'm here. Right. But man, we've got to get these people resources. We've got to help our teachers if they're the ones pouring into our future. Right. My time has come. My education has went through. Right. But my children, our children, your children, they are affected by these people. And man, I would hope that we would put these teachers in a position to where they were excited to go to school every day, right? Not trying to figure out where the next meal is going to come from or the hour drive they're going to have to make. I don't know about you, but I don't know anyone that drives an hour to work that is thrilled by the time they arrive there. Is it just me? Ladies, do you know anyone?
I do not.
That is like, especially at the time of day, right? Like teachers are going in and out at the most difficult times. When I hear that, it just hurts my heart. So forgive me. I know some of you are like, Juan, you're nuts. I get it. It's fine. But man, these teachers matter. They know what they're walking into. I understand that, but it should not be a life of struggle. They don't get to, it's just so hard. It's so hard. I wish I had a plan. I hate talking about things where I don't have a legitimate solution from it, but I just want everyone to be aware, right? Like there are opportunities. So here is a solution, right? Backpack drives. Right. I'm sharing this with you right now. If you have a teacher who is taking care of your children, send them lunch tomorrow. Right. DoorDash is a wonderful. You want to talk about another cool app? That's a great website. There's a good app for it too. Jump on there, send them some cookies, give them something to show them some love. These people are in there in the thick of it, right? I'm a father of 3. When I'm home with my kids for more than 4 hours, trust me, I am tested. I am I am tested, and I know you are too. So love on these people, y'all. Love on them. And thank you for sticking around with us. I know we went super long on this. We can go extremely long from time. I am long-winded. I get it. But we love sharing what is happening with our in our community with you in real time, right? Marcia, obviously, we got clients reaching out live and saying thank you to her, which I greatly appreciate. Stacy has been busting her behind on our team since we walked in the door. Literally has been running. She'll drive an hour to serve a client, right?
Yes,
Both these ladies have done that many times, and myself, but we get to do this. Okay. We understand we could go get a job in our backyard, do that thing, but we love serving people who are buying, selling, and relocating in the Tampa Bay area. We love helping people through the journey we went on. I am extremely grateful. These ladies have done nothing but just absolutely pour their heart out in the community. I appreciate you. I know that our viewers and the clients you have served do as well. So with that being said, I would love to wrap up this evening. Ladies, any final words? Let's go to Stacy first, and we'll have Marcia sign us out.
Thanks for joining us. And like I said, I love helping families relocate and talking about my experience. So reach out. I'd be happy to help you. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. And Miss Marcia, who is the lovely and talented, one of the greatest, the best realtor in Tampa Bay and in Sarasota. And we've got the best realtor in Pasco County in Tampa Bay with Stacy. We have the bestest, plural. I love that. Miss Marcia, good evening. Any final words?
Thank you so much. Like you were saying earlier, I've started really enjoying Tuesday nights. I love getting the information, sharing the information, and then getting the information from you guys, everything you share. So I hope you find it helpful and hope to hear from you.
Absolutely. And as you could tell, I'm passionate about specific things. So anybody who serves, I have a tremendous heart for, right? So our police officers, our first responders, our educators, especially the educators, man, like love on those people. Okay. They're pouring in. A lot of the times it goes unrecognized, unrewarded. And heck, half the time they're probably getting abused by parents. I've been to soccer games. We have soccer kids. It blows my mind how adults act on fields. It's crazy. And that's probably the same thing that's happening in these classrooms. And I just want you to know that if that is you, I appreciate you. I love you. Keep your head up. Anything we can do to help, do not hesitate to reach out. We'd love to share a voice. I would love to talk here. Hop on here with us. We'd love to put you in front of the community and share you with the community so they can really understand who it is that is out there to serve. So with that being said, we want to just say thank you. Check out that Murata video. Stacy was incredible on it this past week. Check out the Sarasota video with Marcia. It was awesome. You'll see the University Town Mall. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. All of our contact information is listed down below. Heck, there's even a link to my calendar where you can schedule time to jump on a Zoom call with me. With that being said, you have a wonderful evening. Go out and live that Tampa life, y'all. Have a great night.
Good night.